Hi, I'm Aubrie.
Hi, I'm Kathleen. We're two friends having a good time.
I happen to be a Christian, and that's okay.
And I happen to be an atheist, and that's okay.
Welcome to the Christian and the Atheist podcast.
Let's dive in.
Hey guys, have you left a review for our podcast yet? Head over to wherever you listen to your podcast and do that right now.
And follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Christian and the Atheist, and TikTok at Christian and Atheist.
Check us out on Patreon for ad-free content.
And speaking of ads, if you or your business would like to sponsor the Christian and the Atheist podcast, feel free to contact us to get started.
Coming up on the Christian and the Atheist podcast.
We're like to the car, and he says, the guy that hit you in the bar just walked in.
But you were still walking fine, talking fine, kind of giggly, but nothing crazy. And I'm over here like, oh my God, I don't know if I can walk. Have you ever had surgery? Or you went under anesthesia?
Yes, I've been under anesthesia.
Did you wake up?
Yeah.
In the middle of it?
No. Yeah, obviously I woke up, Aubrie. I'm sitting here. He hyped us up in a sermon. You posted it.
In front of the world.
I was like, okay, what is going on with Kat Von D? I don't know anything about what's going on.
She just got baptized in the Church of Jesus. Like, she's like, yeah, you're with Christian and the Atheist. I think that's how it worked.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, except I'm not Christian anymore. And she's like, yeah, you can just call yourself an agnostic. Or you just say you're agnostic. And it seriously threw me back.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not agnostic. Aubrie's going to come in and get her crotch tattooed with a freaking thing. But if you're running a cult, this is the way to do it.
Yeah. There you go. Welcome to the Christian and the Atheist podcast morning show, where we let you know what's going on in our lives right now.
Oh, yeah. So morning show topics are going to be the following. So Kathleen, tell us your topic.
So we ran into, if you listened to a few episodes back, you know that a guy smacked me in a bar.
Slapped her.
Yeah. And so we saw him, my husband and I saw him while getting lunch recently.
We'll tell more story about that. There's going to be a more in-depth.
That was a whole situation.
Yeah. And then we're going to talk about alcohol and like Kathleen's abilities with alcohol. You don't know what I'm about to say, which is even funnier.
my great skills? I don't know.
We're going to talk about Kat Von D.
Sure.
Being called an agnostic. Tattoos, Christian tattoos specifically.
Okay.
And then another thing that has to do with Life Church and All Souls.
Okay.
And then I'll make that a different conversation in a different show. It might be a whole ass episode.
Oh, I'm excited.
Okay, let's hear your story. I want to know.
So, it's not super thrilling, thank goodness, because with this situation, it is. But with this situation, I would like less excitedness.
True.
And more not excitedness. But anyway, a few weeks ago, my husband and I went to get some lunch, just the two of us. We're sitting there eating, we're having a great time. And we're kind of nearing the end of our lunch and just like hanging out. And he just suddenly looks at me and goes, we need to leave right now. And I was like, but my hummus. My first thought was like, but I was excited about this hummus. I want it. And he was like, you need to get up. You need to go out the door. And I'm like panicking. I'm like, what's going on? Because of course,
Was this in Owasso?
Yes.
Okay.
And so anyway, he says, we need to leave right now. And I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, my first thought is like, did someone text him? Is there an emergency? The kids? Like, what's going on? Like, it's one of these restaurants where you get your food and you sit down and you take it to the trash yourself. So I'm like trying to grab my tray and he's like, leave it. We gotta go. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So we leave and we get to the parking lot and we're like to the car and he says, the guy that hit you in the bar just walked in. And I was like,
was he with his wife?
I have no idea. I didn't see him. I was really focused on the hummus. Thank goodness. I'm glad I didn't see him. Brandon said he doesn't think he saw us. He kind of, walked past our table to the counter, Brandon saw him and was like, get out of the restaurant, run. And so, we didn't have a confrontation or anything, which is good, because no thank you. No. I already did that. I don't want to do that again.
Right.
But I did have to let go of my hummus, which I might go get some today because it was delicious. But anyway,
right.
I, driving home, both of us, of course, were very rattled. I was surprised at how rattled that made me. The idea of running into him. I always knew, because the first altercation happened in our hometown, 5 minutes from my house. I always knew that there is the possibility of running into him. But I sort of kind of forgot about it. This is months ago.
It's been a while.
And I just sort of was like, man, it's probably not going to happen. And of course it does, as soon as I stop thinking about it. Wow. And so, driving home, it stressed me out a lot, the fact that I can just be out and about. Because I'm here all the time. Most of the time, my husband is not with me. He has a job. It's cool that he does. But, most of the time, it's just me running into Goodwill and Walmart and the grocery store. And so it did make me very nervous, the idea that I don't know if he knows who I am.
I mean, the likelihood with the amount of intoxication that was involved with that guy, how intoxicated he was, it was a lot. Maybe he doesn't, but there's a chance. And and there's an active case against him, and he has to live with that.
And I don't know if he is aware that I am, because there have been developments with that case, and I'm not going to say a whole lot, but it is, I did have police contact me and say that it is not the only case that they are working on with this individual.
This is a continuous issue, and that's enough said about that.
Right.
Clearly you need help, friend.
Right. Hopefully
not friend.
You need help, enemy. And stop getting euros at my Euro place, God. I want those euros. You don't deserve them.
And the hummus is fantastic, and it's mine, not yours.
I had to throw it away, and I was very sad.
This is my territory.
But it did. It kind of felt like it did. On the way home, I cried. I was stressed. I cried in the car a little bit because I was partially because of the hummus. Just kidding.
The hummus.
I'm gonna keep harping on this joke, but no, it partially just the idea that next time when I'm running into the post office, is he going to be behind me in line? Is he going to be recognize who I am? I already know that he has a tendency to get violent. Is he going to continue that trend next time he runs into me? And so there's still that nervousness now that I find myself in places where, especially nearby where I know that he was. I find myself looking around and kind of making sure. And if I see him, I have to leave, which is probably a good thing. I would much rather, when Brandon said, we have to leave right now, I'm very happy that Brandon saw him and ushered me out of there before he saw us.
Or you saw him
or I saw him first.
Thing. What that evoked in you knowing that was him later, what would it have evoked you seeing him in the flesh?
Right.
Just the idea of y'all being in the same place caused tremendous amount of emotion with good reason.
Your girl was stressed.
Yeah.
So, there is still that nervousness that I didn't really even expect there to be. When the initial assault happened, I didn't expect to be still thinking about it 6 months later.
And you don't want to be, but the reality of the situation is you are, and it's not ridiculous.
No, it
sucks.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid.
It's the reality of the situation, and I'm mad that this is your reality.
I know.
How dare he do that to you, and now you're here.
I remember saying to Brandon, I can't even get lunch without somebody being there, I was so annoyed, but, it is what it is. Hopefully, like we said, even if he had seen me, hopefully he wouldn't recognize me. Maybe maybe a little bit of that person looks familiar and move on. But, I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. And there is still that nervousness too of, because this is an active court case, eventually my full name will be connected. For him to find eventually. And so there's still that nervousness as well as this could be because he took the actions that he took that night in the bar, he could potentially continue to take action against me if he was unhinged enough to do that, which is scary. But, you know, it's just how it is.
Yeah.
So
there's so much to say, but we basically have already said it. And it's just, and I know there's listeners that have reached out to us after your episode dropped being like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And it's like, you're okay, but there's still negative like repercussions that come from being assaulted. Even if it was just no marks left, it's still a violation of your bubble and your like autonomy.
Absolutely.
And now you have like kind of a disturbance of the peace in your soul.
Yeah.
And that sounds dramatic, but like it's real. It's real.
Yeah.
And that pisses me off. I'm sorry.
Just a warning out there, y'all. If you're the type of person to have a few too many, which, you know, there's people out there who, once they've had a few too many, sometimes they lose their logic side of things. That's fine. You know, maybe have a few too many at home in a safe environment instead of going out.
Maybe don't do that.
Yeah, don't be an a-hole.
Freaking goodness. Because it's like everybody, it's negative repercussions for the people at home.
Yeah. For everybody.
And nobody wants that. Like, know how much is too much. Yeah. And that kind of goes into this, like, conversation about that I want to go into the story, because I think that there are people that really know how to hold their own well, and they know when to stop.
Yes.
And like, I want to be a positive like speaker on that, like influence, like I know when I'm having a lot of alcohol, I don't lose my shit. I haven't gotten there.
No.
I get paranoid, that's it. But anyways, please just be mindful of your drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly, y'all.
So we got the honor of having you and Brandon and me and Frank go on a kind of like a double date for my birthday party.
It was so fun.
I call it a birthday party. Yeah, it's a birthday dinner. It was supposed to have more people. And life happens and they're not able to make it, which was fine. But I also didn't want a lot of people. So I just had 2 other people to come and they weren't able to make it, which was...
I think someone got sick and it's just life, you know.
Bummer. But
yeah.
We went to this fantastic restaurant.
Oh my gosh, it was so good.
Called Mr. Kim's, downtown Tulsa. If you're in the area and you want to have an experience, this isn't a sit down for 30, 45 minutes to an hour and be done. This is an experience for the night. Take your woman out. Take your man. Take your significant other.
It is not kid friendly. I mean,
kids were there.
There were, but that's crazy. It is.
You don't think it was?
No, I mean, not that it wasn't, but just like the price point alone.
If you got money to spend.
Yeah, it's pricey. It's fun. It's very, it's
high end.
Yes, it's a high end restaurant.
And
like, nobody's going to blink at you if you bring kids.
No, you can totally bring kids.
There's, you know, it is definitely more of a date night experience.
Yeah. But it's like, it's Korean barbecue.
I ate foie gras. It was great.
What is that?
What? You ate it.
I know. I don't know what that is.
I don't want to tell you now.
It's okay. I just don't know what it was.
It's like duck.
Like that thing.
Yes.
The duck with the tuna. It was tuna, duck, and then something else. And calamari. Caviar.
Yeah.
Calamari. Caviar.
Nope, those are different. Those are different things. We ate. It was so fancy. They bring little chef bites, and they're like, "This is our blah blah blah." It was so fun. It was so fun.
And it was funny because she's like, they have it where you can pick what you want, or they have it where the chef can pick what he gives you, or she. And you're like, okay, I don't want to be in charge of this.
I'm not in charge of anything.
Because I don't know what the hell any of it is.
Heck no.
Clearly.
Yeah. Obviously.
So she's like, it looks like it's small portions, like it's multi-course. And so she's like, just trust the process. And I was like, good, cool. And she's like, people are worried they're not going to leave full. Oh my God, I was so full.
Oh yeah, I left with plenty of food.
I mean, it wasn't like I'm going to throw up.
No.
And we drank so much.
We did have some booze.
Okay, so she brings out, oh my God, she brings out this cup. I mean, this like thing, a drink. And she's like, this one's really strong. And I'm like, cool, whatever. I believe you. I'm drinking it on an empty stomach. I feel nothing.
Yeah.
And then we're eating. Everything's fine. I feel nothing. And I'm like, give me another drink. Whoa. And we're just having the best time. And then I'm starting to feel something. And then I'm like downing this other drink. So I'm downing these drinks, not thinking
multiple cocktails.
Clearly.
They're one of those ones, slow release. Where you drink one, you're like, I'm good. And suddenly you've had 4 and you're not good anymore.
I was fine, but
You were great.
I was literally like, oh my God, I'm drunk.
It was hilarious.
Like, I remember staring you in the eye.
Yep.
I'm drunk.
You did say that.
And it was like, not drunk. And then 5 seconds later,
Yep.
I was like, I'm drunk.
Yep.
And so what I wrote down was, we drank enough to be drunk. And Kathleen, being the Irish queen she is, was barely affected.
Yeah.
Whereas I, the England queen,
Yeah.
because I looked up my genealogy, was filling it. And Frank, who is also very Irish, mind you, I have a little, like 40%. Mm-hmm. He's got 88%.
Yeah.
I don't know your numbers, Kathleen, because we did the 23andMe. Have
My
you done
sister did, and I haven't done it personally.
y'all
My
will
sister
still
did,
come up
and it
different.
was it would will be slightly different, but we have the same premise. It's high. It's upwards of. I think it was upwards of like Frank. If it's 88, that would be on the lower end. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Daisy, let me know. She will.
Okay.
She will. She's gonna text me when she listens to this and be like, "It was this percent," and I have it
great.
screenshotted somewhere. I don't know. I want to do it myself, but yeah, it's very. My name is Kathleen Odell.
I wrote this down.
Yeah, it's that's my maiden name. It's all Irish.
It's very Irish. So
yes.
you're like, and so people say Irish people like have this like
Irish liver.
that,
Yeah.
and I'm like, whatever, that's silly. I'm watching it go down. So my sister and her husband came down in July, and Frank and my brother-in-law drank a whole bottle of tequila.
That's disgusting. They're gonna barf.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Not Frank.
Nope,
Frank was
didn't.
fine.
Yeah.
Frank didn't even he's like, I don't feel anything.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And then my brother, sorry to rat you out, friend, was up checking in my bathroom.
Yeah.
And my husband's taking care of him like a king.
Yeah.
Like, love that guy. And then I'm over here in the backyard, literally laying back in my chair, spinning and thinking, oh my God, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
But I'm not puking, thankfully. I'm scared I will die in that moment, like an asteroid.
Yes.
Nothing real.
No.
Anyways,
Drunk thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have some Irish, but not enough.
Not enough
To
for
have
this.
the last name of an Irish person like good old Kathleen.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because my husband, obviously, those of you who are listening, I don't know if you've seen pictures of Brandon, but he's a big guy. He's like 6'3".
Oh, yeah.
He's huge. And he is the biggest lightweight in the world.
Which is so funny to me.
You don't think it. You'd think the big giant who, he drinks half a beer and he's like, woo, I'm feeling it. And I'm like, what?
me.
Yes. And I'm over here like...
You're fine. You
Yeah.
were fine. We probably had 3 really strong drinks.
I think I had, at the restaurant, 3 strong cocktails, which...
You might have, at the end of the night, I think you hit 4.
I think I did.
At Mr. Kim's.
And then we went to the next place.
And you had
And I had a glass of wine, but it was gross wine. I didn't really drink much of it.
You didn't finish it?
No, it was bad.
But you were
still.
walking fine, talking fine, kind of giggly, but nothing
Yes.
crazy.
And
I'm over here like, oh my God, I don't know if I can walk.
Yeah.
And we had to walk to the freaking escape room.
Yeah.
Which
is
was
actually,
cool.
It was super cool. But I've actually noticed this. I don't, for example, when I take medicine, I don't take Tylenol. It doesn't ever work. It doesn't, nothing happens.
Yeah.
And I think it's because my liver metabolizes it very quickly.
Interesting.
And so I think there's something about the way my body handles alcohol, Tylenol, and not to plug your ears, Mom, marijuana. But yeah, all of these things, I have a very high tolerance.
You really aren't
for.
affected by THC at all?
I have to do a lot more than most people.
That's so interesting
lot.
to me. I'm just finding it to be interesting. Anyone else?
A lot more. The last time, this has been years, calm down. Anyone who's got 911 on the phone to arrest me, settle. It's been multiple years. Chill. The statute of limitations for fucking weed vape is gone. Chill. But last time, it was there were 4 of us, I think, and everybody, it was like a vape pen pen type of situation. And the people around me did 1 puff and were gone. And I think I had like 3 and felt nothing and ended up going away from it being like, man, what's the point of that? And so I don't really.
That is so interesting to me.
I've never felt
how would you metabolize like ingesting it?
I don't know. I've never tried it, and maybe I will someday. But I also, because I have such a high tolerance for it, I don't care to do it much. Because
have you ever had surgery? Where you went under anesthesia?
Yes, I've been under anesthesia.
Did you wake up?
Yeah.
In the middle of it?
No. Yeah, obviously I woke up, Aubrie. I'm sitting here.
Stop.
Duh. No, I did not wake up in the middle of it. No.
I feel like you'd like that Grey's Anatomy episode.
No,
where she
but I
wakes
do.
Up in the middle of it.
When I had epidurals, they didn't always work. When
That's
I had
so crazy to me.
With my middle, when I had the epidural, it didn't cut the pain, and I kept pushing the button and being like,
"Help me!
How many times can I push this?" And they're like, "Yeah, at some point it's just not going to work." So,
anyways, well, that was something I wanted to. Anyone else Irish have Irish in their DNA? Anyways, okay. So I was recently reached out to by a person that attends my previous church, and I still am in contact with them due to a ministry that I still serve in. Okay. And it's not necessarily a Life Church ministry, but Life Church like promotes it quite a bit.
Okay.
And then the wife to the senior pastor is the one who started it. Okay. So it is a pretty cool, and my involvement is driving people to and from work to home. Okay. And so it's just one of those things I'm able to do. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not in a leadership position where I'm like over anyone.
Right. You're just helping out where you can.
So I feel morally okay doing it. Okay. And it's been good. So
yeah,
there's a person that is involved with that who reached out and was like, I heard you have a podcast.
Yay.
And I found myself in a place that I was in the past. And now, okay, I'm trying to figure out how to say the story. Okay, so I was like, oh my God. And I felt this feeling, and I hadn't felt it until like since I left Life Church. Because at the new place that I'm at, All Souls, like the literal senior pastor is constantly talking about the podcast.
He hyped us up in a sermon. You posted
like
it
in front of the world.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Do you know how many people watch those?
Are we famous?
Yeah.
That was super nice of them. But they're very cool about it. But I think I know what you're saying. Like they're a little bit of anxiety.
Well, so I'm going from never talking about the podcast at the church that I was at to going to the new church I'm at, and they literally can't shut up about it in the best way. Yes. I'm flattered. Yeah. I feel like we're finally, and Frank said this is a sentence from my husband. He's like, you're finally getting the recognition you deserve. Because you guys are putting the work in for something. You're doing a good thing. Yeah. And it's not a small thing. This is a lot of work we're doing.
It is a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
And we're not like just goobers.
I mean, we are.
Okay, whatever. But like,
I mean, it's super fun and we have a great time doing it, but it is a lot of work. And it does, every once in a while, I think both of us get this feeling of like, what are we doing? What, does anybody care? What, you know?
I think at one point, yes, but lately, no. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know.
People obviously care.
Yeah. And like going through being removed from leadership and leaving a church that I backed so hard, and then people being like, no, you are finally seeing the light, and this is the side of things that you weren't seeing, and now that I'm seeing it, I can like be like, oh my God. Yeah. It's a new perspective, and there's a lot more involvement going on. And like I feel a new vigor towards it, and I'm putting a lot of work in. You're putting a lot of work in, and it's like, okay, finally. Yeah. Like nobody hyped up the podcast on the other church, and I never expected them to, and I never expected the new place to. Yeah. And I'm telling you, every time I meet somebody, and Marlon is right there, he's like, did you know she has a podcast? And I'm so literally cute. Like, oh my gosh. Or someone will be like, I heard about the podcast.
Oh my gosh.
I'm telling you, every freaking time it's 5 or more people. And
That's so cool.
I've passed out so many of our cards.
Hey!
I'm not kidding.
I love it.
We're gonna run out. I never thought. Anyways, so
That's amazing.
And so it's like it's neat to like revisit a feeling I had of almost shame about being on the side that I'm on the side that I'm at, like the Christian with the atheist. Not a lot of people hype that up. So it just made me really proud of where I am and of the people around me now.
Yeah.
That are like, this is good.
Yeah.
I'm like, good, thank you.
Yeah. It's super nice that you have people around you building a community who actually are very supportive.
Yeah.
Through and through. Whether they agree with your stance on things or not, whether they are 100%, whether they're atheist, Christian, or something in between.
Yeah.
They are like, hey, this is super cool.
Well, they see the worth in this.
Yes.
Whereas other people, like, I felt like it was like people thought I was clowning around.
Mm-hmm.
Like
or there's been, I know people who, if you aren't 100% seeing the light that they do, then you're not, then you're completely wrong.
Yeah.
Which,
like, that.
Don't get us started. But yeah.
God bless you. Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Okay, so next thing, Kat Von D.
Okay, what is going on with Kat Von D? I don't know anything about what's going on.
She just got baptized in the Church of Jesus, like in a church. Like, she's Christian. She is.
Was she not before?
She was a witch. She was like, and she's completely blacking out.
I do know
all
that.
her tattoos because they're no longer a part of what she believes. She was like witchy. She was a witch.
She was also an anti-vaxxer too.
Well, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about I don't have time.
Outside of the topic.
No, yeah, like there's so much about Kat Von D in general that we could have like a podcast about.
She's a bit of a problematic character.
I used to like be obsessed with her. People
Really?
told me I looked like her when I was younger. Because I would do, like for Halloween, I've done the makeup.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, like red lipstick. People like would be like, you look like Kat Von D. This was like a college.
Put you in a black wig and
call me Kat.
Cool.
But I'm shook by it. And
Really?
like, so she posted a TikTok on it, and then K-Love, which is a huge nationwide Christian radio station, posted about it.
Okay.
Freaking Facebook algorithm fed it to me, and I was like, what are you doing?
I don't get any of these videos.
I do. I get so many crazy things that I'm like,
sure.
You guys need to stop showing this to me.
I get a lot of Mormon stuff.
Yeah.
Both Mormon and ex-Mormon. Tons. But, it is what it is.
Anyway, so I'm just like, I read the comments and people are like, welcome to the family. Jesus is so happy right now. And I'm like,
cool.
Cringe.
Jeez.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know anything about her. I don't know.
It's not a lot, but that alone blew my mind. How do you feel about that? Like, how can you go from being like, I feel like she's a witch. She like did spells, I guess. I don't know what that entails. I think witches, much like Christianity, have different sects. Like
there's all kinds of
differently.
different.
Yeah. So I don't know that she like full on worshipped the devil or anything. I don't know her personally, but now she's a Christian, and it just kind of, I need to talk to somebody that was atheist and now Christian.
I don't know of any.
Faithful Politics, Will was.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But like,
I know of one. It's Will.
I want to talk to him and be like,
podcast.
I'm not mad. I'm mad about Kat Von D because it's so public and it's annoying. But like Will, I know him personally somewhat, and it's
how
like
do you
different.
go?
Like I care.
Yeah, I understand how people how people go from religious to atheist. I get it. I know a lot of people, but I don't know how like the process is the opposite. That's interesting.
I want to be in their brain.
Yeah, I want to find somebody and interview them.
We're gonna have to do that soon.
Yeah.
In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Okay. Jesus of Latter-day Saints, I pray.
Not him. No.
Anyways. Okay.
Not Mormon Jesus. Just kidding.
Okay, so I was at church. I talk about the church a lot. I'm sorry. I just freaking love it. It's a good place.
It's good.
It's like the atheists are there too. So it's like, it's just a really cool place right now.
I'm excited.
They haven't f***ed up yet.
So far, so good.
There's a chance, but the likelihood's low.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be something like I don't know. Your food was weird.
So far, all the flags are green that I've seen.
They are.
Thank
you for saying that.
It's been great.
You did not feel that way about Life Church.
No, but that's okay.
And I'm sorry it took me a minute.
It's all right. I'm here for you. I'm supporting you, no matter what.
I had to do it in my time.
That's right.
So at church recently, a lady came up to me and she's like, "Hi, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Oh my God, you're my Facebook friend. I'm glad to meet you in person."
Right.
And she's like, I don't know how I came up, like, no longer being Christian. She's like, no, yeah. I was like, she's like, yeah, you're with Christian and the Atheist. I think that's how it worked.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, except I'm not Christian anymore. And she's like, yeah, you can just call yourself an agnostic, or you just say you're agnostic. And it seriously threw me back.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not agnostic. Like, it was offensive. Being labeled that.
Yeah.
Took me, and I literally had to then be like, curious. Why are you offended by that?
Yeah.
Maybe you are agnostic because you're not Christian. Like, duh, that's exactly what's happening here. But it literally threw me. It's like if someone called me an atheist, I'm like, I'm not atheist.
Yeah. It's one of those labels that scares people.
Yes.
And
it freaked me out.
Regardless of how true, like if you look up the definition of somebody who's agnostic, maybe you fit that label or not. But I think that's the beauty of it, is you're allowed to call yourself whatever you want. Yeah, you can call yourself a plant witch who loves Jesus all day. Yeah. And everybody can be like, cool. Love that for you.
Like,
love that for you.
Yeah, and Frank and I got in a conversation about labels, like, what's it matter? And I'm like, it doesn't. It just threw me back.
It is definitely, I see where, because I feel like if I were going to a place and someone were to say to me, we've had this happen on the podcast a long time ago, where someone was like, well, you're just an agnostic. And I was like, no.
Yeah,
I'm an atheist.
It's not what I am.
Yeah, I'm an atheist.
Don't tell me what I am is one of the things.
Yeah.
And then two, am I?
Yeah.
I had to evaluate it. Mm-hmm. It was weird.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I wasn't mad. I was just like, wait, what?
Caught you off guard.
I am not. Okay. And then I was thinking about, like, tattoos.
Yeah.
So people get tattoos to commemorate, like, types of, like, things that have happened in their lives.
Sure.
Or for no reason. They just get a tattoo. I love it.
Yeah.
I've never gotten one, but could you imagine if I had, like, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 tattooed on my freaking forearm? Like, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and then being where I'm at now.
Yeah.
No wonder Kat Von D's blacking. Well, she didn't black out. Dadgummit. I'd have to black out my arm.
Yeah. Or get it covered up with, like, something.
I mean, yeah, totally. But the fact of the matter is like, branding is a strong word, but branding yourself in the name of the Holy Bible, like, if I had scripture on me right now, maybe I'd feel differently because it meant something to me at the time, and I'd probably pick a decent one.
Yeah.
But come on.
It's like putting an ex's name on you.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel way differently now.
Yeah.
Like, no hard feelings, but no thank you.
In the moment, you're like, oh, yes, we'll always be together. Me and Jesus are like this.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you could break up and you're like, oh, no, I got to get his name taken off.
Like, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
So those of you who have, like, I don't know, a cross even. Like, I'm glad I didn't do any of that.
Well, I know
That's why I'm so leery about getting them.
Yeah, I know, not even religious tattoos. I know a lot of people who have Harry Potter themed tattoos, and they got them years and years ago, before J.K. Rowling lost her ever-loving mind and became the worst.
Right.
And so now they're like, oh, this now means something slightly different.
Yeah.
And so there is that mindset of, as you grow, that's why, like, if my kids, because I have tattoos, if my kids grow up and are like, I'm 18, I want to get it on too, I'm going to be like, well, let's pump the brakes a little bit, pipsqueak. Like, take a minute. Because what I would have gotten at 18 would have been very different than what I would want now. Not just like...
Agreed. Okay, want to talk about one of the ones I almost got, but the tattoo artist said no?
Yes.
This is telling you how idiotic I was.
I'm excited.
It's embarrassing.
I'm thrilled.
You've never heard... Okay.
I think I maybe have. I don't know. It's been 2 years of us talking into microphones. I don't know what I've heard.
I'm going to say you have. Okay,
Probably.
So I'm in college.
Uh-huh.
I'm dating this guy.
Oh, no.
He's getting a tattoo. And it's like, I don't remember where his was. And then his best friend, who ended up being my best friend, shout out to Ricky. You were an amazing friend to me.
Sup, Ricky?
He had a tattoo on his back of a bass fish coming out of a freaking American flag. It was trash.
Oh,
it was
no.
literal trash.
This is the most small town Oklahoma tattoo I have ever heard in my life.
Yeah, he's from Hugo, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
South, like almost Texas.
Yes, that's what that tattoo says. It says, "Hi, I'm from Hugo, Oklahoma."
Yeah. He was getting a degree in like wildlife.
Yeah, of course he was. Yeah, makes sense.
So he could be like a park ranger.
Sure.
Oklahoma?
I hope he is having the best time ever doing that. But that
Shout
tattoo
out.
is silly.
Well, it could have been executed better. The artist didn't do great. So these boys I'm hanging out with are getting their tattoos, and I'm like, cool, I want to get a tattoo. And so
Let's hear it.
I'm talking to the artist while Ricky's getting these needles like all up in his business on his back. I say business. Okay, anyways, I'm getting weird because it's a weird conversation. Anyway, so I'm like, hey dude, I want to get a 4-leaf clover.
Okay. Oh, I have heard this.
So when I take off my panties, there's one like not necessarily right on the top of my crotch, but towards the like right, left or right, depending on where you're looking.
You know what we're talking, that lower hip, upper leg.
Yeah, like covered
crease.
by your panties. Or bathing suit. But when you take those off, this is so like visually, I'm sorry, Jesus. Okay, so an on-set clover. It's going to say, lucky you.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad, Aubrie.
This was the Christian girl who was literally saving herself. I hadn't had sex yet. I don't think. Maybe I had.
I mean.
But like I was literally like a week into it.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. It's not good. I'm glad that artist said no.
He said your vagina's going to be out in the open. You're just going to be exposed.
He's correct.
And I was like, I can cover it with my hand.
No. No. Guys, think about your tattoos. Do that. My advice to anyone getting a tattoo is what someone gave to me, and it has proved me well. When you think you want a tattoo, plan it out. Exactly the design, exactly the placement, exactly all of it. Print it out somewhere. Put it as your phone background. Put it on the fridge, somewhere where you're going to look at it multiple times a day, every day. For 6 months, if you don't question that design,
you do that? Nice.
If you don't question that design once, go ahead. If there is a moment where you're like, ooh, I don't know if I want it in this place, or I don't know if this is really it, start from scratch.
Yeah.
And that's how and I did that with both of my tattoos, and I have not regretted them at all since.
That's good.
So
yeah, so like, so he's like, I can't do it today. And I went in to make an appointment, and they just didn't have anything open.
Yeah, they did. They just didn't want to do that.
The day that I like picked, and they're like, well, we'll see. I show up, or we drive to the place. It's closed.
Yeah. They did that on purpose.
Yeah.
They did that on purpose because they were like,
Aubrey's going to come in and get her crotch tattooed with a freaking thing. Could you imagine? And like every time my husband takes off my drawers.
Could you imagine your wedding night?
Lucky you.
As your good Christian girl getting married and being like, it's our wedding night. Here you go. Yikes. It's not good. When I was 18, 19, I had a plan for a tattoo, which I didn't ever think I was going to get because I was Mormon and they don't do that. But
if you would have.
I would have gotten a butterfly on my lower back like a tramp stamp.
Yeah.
And it, there are worse tramp stamps, but I'm glad I didn't do it. That
you want to
looks
hear what
dumb.
I'm about to throw my mom under the bus so hard.
Oh no. Does she have a tramp stamp butterfly? I'm sorry.
No.
Okay.
No. It's worse.
Oh boy.
Jesus, take the wheel. Okay, love you, Mom, so much. And I give her so much for this.
Oh.
And she doesn't like it, and I'm sorry, but you guys have to hear this. I feel bad, Mom, but it's a good story. Mom and Joel would go to the OU Texas game in Texas.
Very fun.
It's a big deal in Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah. There's a huge rivalry. That's a huge game.
And so there's
What is it,
tattoo
the
artists.
Red River Shootout or whatever they call it? Something like that.
So there's these tattoo places, and she's like, I want to get a tattoo. I don't know that this was her first one. I think her first one was a butterfly, and it's like right in the kind of area where I was going to get it, but higher.
It's a very common 90s tattoo.
This wasn't really the 90s, but it's fine. But yeah, exactly. So funny. Anyways, my mom goes and she just like looks through a book, picks out this angel scene. I mean, it's like one of those old-fashioned pictures where you see the girl on a bridge with her little brother, and it's like stormy and the angels above them protecting them.
Sure.
Like there's a whole background scene.
I've seen that Facebook post. by 100
It
boomer
was
ants.
in my mom's like kitchen. So anyway, she like picks out something similar to that. It's like an angel with like a bluish, greenish background. I mean, it's like the size of your hand, vertical, right? On her back as a tramp stamp.
Oh my gosh. An angel tramp. I mean, it could be worse.
It's her guardian angel.
It could be worse. It could be.
I was like, Mom, did you think about it? And I mean, yeah. And then she wanted her damn guardian angel on her back, which I love.
Yeah.
But I just think it's so funny, the placement.
Yeah.
She could have gotten like the barbed wire or whatever.
Yeah.
She got an angel. Way to go.
But it can makes think of a million
giggle.
worse ideas. One of them is a 4-leaf clover that's just like you.
You're so right.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I could have. And the idea alone is extremely embarrassing.
It's
like
hysterical.
My mom's has nothing on what I was going to do.
It's
like,
hysterical. Again, wait till you're a little older.
Yeah.
Just tread lightly with the tattoos because they don't come off.
You have to look at it
forever.
Or just put them on your back. You don't have to look at them.
Just forget about it. It's fine. I do every once in a while forget about really
gross side. Like if you put something in the back and you're being intimate with your significant other and they're like doing the intimate things, I don't feel like that's a time for your guardian angel to be there.
I saw a picture. So the Mormon church said no tattoos and no extra piercings when I was like 12 or 13. Before that, it was kind of like, you know, it's a very conservative religion. So people who were heavily tattooed, that was kind of like, oh, he's living on the wild side. But the church didn't have an official stance on it before that.
Okay.
So before that, it wasn't unheard of for people to be tattooed. And I remember seeing a picture of somebody who had, this is before the church's stance, they had gotten a tattoo of all of the prophets of the Mormon church, from Brigham Young, Joseph Smith, all the way to the current one at the time. There's like 17 or something portraited on their back, their whole back. And with like, there's like prophet over here and like sunburst and then another prophet and there's like a little like temple spires. And I remember being like, like when I saw the picture, it was after the church had said like, we don't want you to get tattooed. And I remember being like, oh, the regret is strong in this one. But you know, I guess they have since within the last like year or so kind of rescinded that. And it's still very heavily implied.
Yeah.
But they don't officially say in like they used to have this thing called the For Strength of Youth pamphlet.
Yeah.
And it was like a little booklet they gave to teenagers. And it was all stuff like the laws for teenagers. And it's like, don't do drugs. Obey your mom.
Keep your legs crossed.
Yes. Go to church a lot. It's good for you. But one of them, there's obviously a whole lot on like modest clothing, a whole lot on like no heavy petting and necking, which I still don't know what the hell necking is.
Or soaking, which is a thing.
No, that one wasn't in there.
It wasn't in there. They weren't there yet.
No. But
they're like, that's gross.
Yeah.
We can't even write it.
And they're not wrong. Come on, guys. If you're going to go there, just go all the way. That's dumb.
Soaking is when a boy or one with a wiener puts it into the girl and just sits there with it. They don't move, and they think that it's not sex.
I will say that's a myth. There is not a single person in the world.
You don't think
people
did that?
People
because I've seen it on TikTok, and they were like, "Yeah, we know so and so did it, but this could be rumors. This isn't like firsthand."
I'm sure they know somebody,
but who's going to admit to doing that?
Yeah. But nobody who grew up as a Mormon thinks this is getting me out. This is a loophole for sinning. Nobody thinks that way. It's kind of like
desperate times.
Yeah. When my older sisters were at BYU, there was a trend because BYU is like a 4 or 5 hour.
This is where the soaking situation gets talked about.
There's like, it's like a 4 or 5 hour drive. It's not too far from Vegas. There was a trend at the time, which trend meaning there were probably 2 people who did it, but everybody heard about it, of teenagers or college students who wanted to have sex. They would drive to Vegas, get married for the night, have sex, and then get it annulled the next day and be like, yeah, we weren't breaking the law of chastity because we didn't have sex outside of marriage. And the church or the
a lot of work.
Yeah. The BYU people had to come out and be like, guys, come on. You are. We know that you are.
Gosh.
You know that you are. Come on, people.
That's silly.
And so, you know, it's that mindset of like, nobody who's soaking really thinks that Jesus is like, they didn't move, so it's fine. Come on. Nobody thinks that. But anyway, the For Strength of Youth pamphlet back in the day used to say, boys aren't allowed to have any piercings at all. Girls are only allowed to have one earlobe piercing. And nobody's allowed to get tattoos. No way, Jose. No. And now it just says, be mindful of how you dress with your hair, tattoos, makeup, piercings, whatever. Do it in a way that God likes it.
I mean, I've got to hand it to them. I'm serious. Like, because certain things were not revoked in the past church I was in, we left.
Yeah.
The Mormon church, if you were getting to a person like I was, to get to them is to remove upsetting things,
Problematic things, yeah.
And I think that might work for people. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's
I know there's a lot of people, because that's not the only thing that was changed in the For Strength of Youth pamphlet. It used to say, again, when I was a teenager, when it talked about dress, it said you're not allowed to wear a two-piece bathing suit. You're not allowed to have shorts that go above your kneecaps. You're not allowed to have your midriff show ever. You're not allowed to have the capped sleeves or any cleavage, or like, it was very strict as far as like the dress.
Goodness.
And there were a lot of things that it laid out a lot of detail for. And now they've sort of dialed that back and have turned it more into use your own judgment.
Yeah.
Pray about it with your parents and your church leaders, and do what you feel is the best choice for you.
Right.
And I commend them for that, because I think that's way better.
They're still problematic.
It's still, obviously.
But if you're running a cult, this is the way to do it.
Yeah. There you go. No, I think there is a lot of problems within the Mormon church, and I know there are a lot of people on my end of things, ex-Mormons, who are almost furious that they have done this, because in their minds,
it's just allowing people to stay in a problematic situation. And I'm glad that I'm no longer a part of something like that.
Yes.
Like, the eyes are open now.
Well,
and I mean, they were open before, but I just kind of let it go.
Well, and we kind of talked about this on Marco Polo this morning. There's this mindset of, because we're never not talking to each other, apparently.
Our whole lives a podcast.
We are always doing
hear
this. It's great. But anyway, we had this conversation this morning about how, you put so much time and effort into an organization that then you find out is fraudulent, and it's offensive that you've done that. And so that's kind of where I think a lot of these ex-Mormons are at, is like, I did this. I wore shorts. I wore capris that went down below in 100-degree heat with garments on, and I didn't get tattoos, and I didn't drink caffeine, and I didn't get a migraine piercing that everyone gets, because that was against the rules. I just dealt with the migraine, and I did all these things, and then when I because there is also that mindset of, when you leave and start doing those things, people are like, oh, you just wanted to sin.
Yeah,
you left.
It pisses me off.
And so then the church is saying, oh, no, having a migraine piercing is not that big of a deal. It's okay.
Oh, yeah.
There's that. And so there's these people who are like, but I got in trouble for that. Yeah. I killed myself to live these arbitrary rules that you set up, and now you're saying they don't matter? That's so unfair. And I get that mindset, but I also thinking about the people who are doing it now, I would much rather these young kids growing up not be so panicked about which half inch of my shoulder blade is showing too much, and do I need to repent about it? Like, it's much better to dial back the dogma as much as we can for those who are still in it.
Right.
So I don't know.
Well,
anyway.
Way to go, Mormonism.
Hey, guys. All that to say, think about your tattoos before you get them.
Yeah. As a 35-year-old woman, to have a clover that close to my good girl would be kind of embarrassing. I mean, I think I would have to just come to a place of owning it. Like, this is what it is, but it is also very, like, it's in a place. Like, I feel like, to be honest, the only people would see it. Oh my God! Imagine having a baby.
Yes. Yeah. There are people going to see that.
I had Alexis, and there was a whole ass group of students watching my vagina.
Oh, yeah. They do that. They do.
They would have seen my head.
They would have seen. I mean, they would have seen a whole lot more than just your tattoo. They did, but
I think the
adds
tattoo's
to
the
it.
part that I
Would be embarrassed about. Yeah.
Vaginas are vagina.
Everybody's
Tattoos,
got one. Not everyone has that travesty of a tattoo.
Yeah. That's embarrassing.
Oh my God. I feel like I'm sure there's a Grey's Anatomy episode like that where there's like, they go in somewhere and someone's got a tattoo and they're like, whoa.
Well, what's funny is it's not funny is a guy had a swastika. Remember that one?
Yeah.
They like had to cut his stomach open and somebody had messed it up.
That's right.
And they were like, "You did this on purpose." And
George
like
yelled at
on there.
George yelled at him and was like, "I would have saved your life," and it was so dramatic.
It was, but it was with good reason. That's crazy.
Don't get a swastika.
It was huge.
Gross.
It covered his abdomen.
Yeah.
It wasn't this small thing like the prisoners do.
Yeah.
Anyways, I gotta pee.
Yeah.
So let's wrap this bad boy up. Thank you guys for listening. This was fun. I loved hearing about fun little things you put in there.
Tell us about your terrible tattoo ideas. Or your terrible tattoos. Or your good tattoos.
Your Jesus tattoos, your Christian tattoos.
Yeah.
What are you doing with them if you don't believe anymore?
Yeah, if you have a tattoo that you regret, what's your stand? Are you getting it covered? Are you getting it lasered? Are you just living with it? What's your position, y'all?
All right, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye. Have you guys checked out our merch yet?
We have awesome t-shirts, mugs, tumblers, and other fun stuff.
Head down to the link in the description to give it a look.